Yeah, hi friends, welcome to the webinar regarding Nifty Expiry. We'll just wait a couple of minutes. People are still joining in. We'll just wait a minute or so and soon start this session. I would just like to thank all our friends जिन्होंने भी आज session attend किया है. Thank you for taking out your precious time and having attended the session. We'll just wait a minute or so since the participants are still joining in. We'll just wait a minute and start the session soon. Thank you. Yeah, I think we'll start with the session. So I'll just give the brief outlook regarding the market and the various sectors कैसे perform कर रहे हैं. So I'll keep the session as a mix of both English and Hindi for the benefit of everyone. And at the end, we could just have a slight question and answer session wherein we can answer the questions. So this is the basic gist of what we'll be covering. So first, let's start by having a look at what Nifty is actually indicating based on the charts. तो charts क्या कह रहे हैं? तो निफ्टी का चार्ट देखते हैं हम लोग. So if you see निफ्टी जो है क्लियरली एक हेड एंड शोल्डर टेक्निकल चार्ट पैटर्न पे हेड एंड शोल्डर बोलते हैं इसे. It has given a head and shoulder pattern breakdown on the daily chart. तो वी एक्सपेक्ट अभी जो टारगेट आ रहा है ये पर्टिकुलर पैटर्न का इट कम्स क्लोजर टुवर्ड्स 23,300 23,400 लेवल्स. तो अभी जो इंडेक्स जो चल रहा है दैट इज ऑन द स्पॉट बेसिस इट इज क्लोजर टुवर्ड्स 23,530 520 levels is what the spot level is. So gradually the index could come about 200 to 300 points lower from the current price action, which would confirm the target of the head and shoulder chart pattern. So the daily chart is definitely indicating weakness. See, weakness कैसे पता चल जाता है एक मार्केट का? It is based on the closing price. Whenever we go into the close, if you see, if you have been tracking the market, uh, the close has always been on the negative from the last 15-20 trading sessions. We are never been able to close closer towards the high point of the day. That was not the case about 2 months back. We were seeing that markets were constantly able to close closer towards the high point of the day. But अभी जब भी रिकवरी भी अगर एक 200-300 पॉइंट का मार्केट में रिकवरी आ जाता है, there is intensive selling pressure which is being seen in the frontline counters, and the markets are not able to sustain even the intraday gains. Today also if we see there was a pullback in the initial part. अगर फर्स्ट हाफ एन आवर 1 hour में देखा जाए निफ्टी on the spot chart made an attempt towards the levels of 23,650 levels, but clearly the market was not able to sustain at the higher levels, and we have witnessed a correction closer towards 23,000. Now if you see we are trading at 23,530 levels. Today's expiry per se, if you see based on levels for Nifty, we believe that I'll discuss regarding the option chain also. But if you see the highest put writing is seen currently at the current juncture, it is seen in 23,500 के strike में देखा जा रहा है. And if we minus about 40 points from there, that is the option price का average premium, the support for the index that is comes at 23,460 470 levels. So we have a view that the index can hold on to this level, that is 23,460. But like yesterday, if there is intensive selling pressure which comes about in the second half of the session and markets break the level of 24,460, then we could see a further 150 point correction in the market towards the levels of 23,350 on the downside in intraday trade. On the upside, आज का जो high है that is 23,650, that itself will be the major resistance for the market. अगर आप ऑप्शन चेन भी अगर आप खोल के देखोगे निफ्टी का ऑप्शन चेन, there is a very high call writing which is seen in 23,600 strike, and ये पर्टिकुलर स्ट्राइक में एडिशन भी हुआ है सुबह से जब मार्केट करेक्शन देना चालू किया है. There has been constant addition in 23,600 strike. So clearly indicating that the market participants are expecting that the high which has been formed for the day can hold good. And if there is a short covering, it will be seen only once Nifty spot manages to move above the levels of 23,630, 23,640 levels, because that is the average premium what has been sold for the 23,600 call option. अगर दिन का एवरेज प्रीमियम लगभग वेटेड एवरेज से देखा जाए, it is about 40-50 points, which is also close to the high point of the day. So only if we manage to take out that level, then we could witness short covering, because today is the weekly expiry and we could see price action. Yesterday was the last day for Bank Nifty. We witnessed extremely sharp price action in the last 1 hour of trade. Today we are not expecting such major price action. More or less it is a truncated week. Today is the last trading day for the week. So at the current juncture, there is no major price action which is being seen. On the downside, 23,460 is acting as a good support zone. Heavy writing भी है, put writing भी देखा जा रहा है 23,500 और 23,400 के strikes में, and ऊपर के levels पे 23,600 is acting as the resistance zone at the current moment. जस्ट लेट्स हैव अ क्विक लुक बैंक निफ्टी की तरफ भी एक बार देख लेते. सी बैंक निफ्टी अगर चार्ट पे देखा जाए क्लियरली आउट परफॉर्म कर रहा है. भरे कल के और लास्ट 2 ट्रेडिंग सेशंस में थोड़ा सेलिंग प्रेशर आया है, बट इट हैज जस्ट रिसेंटली विटनेस्ड अ ब्रेकडाउन फ्रॉम इट्स कंसोलिडेशन जोन. इन कंपैरिजन टू निफ्टी, निफ्टी इज क्लियरली द वीकर ऑफ द 2 इंडाइसेस. निफ्टी में ब्रेकडाउन बहुत पहले ही आया था, एंड it has almost witnessed 1,400 point correction from the neckline as well. But in Bank Nifty, due specifically mainly due to the performance which was seen from HDFC and ICICI Bank and a few of the frontline PSU banking counters, Bank Nifty फिर भी relatively outperform कर रहा है. And yesterday was the expiry and it was also the last weekly expiry. आगे जाके Bank Nifty में weekly expiry नहीं रहेंगे. It will only be monthly expiries. So that was one of the reasons wherein we witnessed extensive selling pressure in trade yesterday. So overall, if we see, there is very few sectors which are positively holding the market at the present juncture. ज़्यादातर major sectors में थोड़ा selling pressure ही आया है. Even the frontline counters like Reliance Industries have witnessed selling pressure in the last 15-20 trading sessions. Let's just look at the major sectors one by one, which are the main sectors and which tend to support the market. So first let's have a look at ये mid cap index का chart है. तो mid cap index में भी last एक 15-20 दिन में थोड़ा selling pressure आया है. It was relatively outperforming for a very good period of time, but in the last 15-20 trading sessions, we have witnessed selling pressure which has come in the mid cap space as well. This is a similar chart. mid cap index और small cap का index का लगभग similar chart pattern रहता है, and that is what we have witnessed in the last few trading sessions, wherein there has been a bit of pressure which has come in the small cap and mid cap space as well. Today is actually the first day of a slight rebound which we are seeing in the small cap index. अगर आपके पोर्टफोलियो में अगर आप देखोगे काफी सारे स्मॉल कैप और मिड कैप स्टॉक्स में आज रिबाउंड देखने को मिला है. दिस इज द फर्स्ट रिबाउंड दैट वी आर सीइंग इन द इंडेक्स इन द लास्ट 6 ट्रेडिंग सेशंस. जो सबसे ज्यादा जो प्रेशर जो हम लोग देख रहे हैं इन टर्म्स ऑफ लार्ज कैप काउंटर्स विच हैव एक्चुअली कम अंडर प्रेशर, इट इज बीन सीन इन द ऑटो इंडेक्स. तो ऑटो इंडेक्स में अगर आप देखोगे 27,696 का ऑल टाइम हाई बनाया था, एंड फ्रॉम देयर वी हैव विटनेस्ड ऑलमोस्ट अ करेक्शन ऑफ of 4,500 points in this particular index. So 27,700 से लगभग 22,900 तक हम लोग आ चुके हैं. So that is a very sharp correction that has been seen in some of the auto counters, especially the two-wheeler auto counters, wherein Maruti, the likes of Maruti and all, have come under pressure in the last few trading sessions. इसके अलावा द वन सेक्टर विच हैज रियली डन बैडली, जब भी ऐसे एक्चुअली इट इज अ कॉन्ट्रा थिंग. पहले कैसा रहता था, जब भी मार्केट में प्रेशर रहता था, एफएमसीजी यूज्ड टू एक्ट एज अ डिफेंसिव सेक्टर and used to protect the markets. But this time around, the FMCG has come under extremely intense selling pressure. None of the major frontline FMCG companies have been able to report good quarterly numbers. सारे के numbers weak side पे ही आए. Barring ITC was still doing good, but now on the last few trading sessions, even ITC has come under a bit of pressure. But all the frontline FMCG companies have done really bad in the last 15-20 trading sessions. Their numbers also are coming on the weaker side. There is a perception that it will take a bit of time for the FMCG counters to regain their volumes and margins. So there has been heavy selling which has been seen in the likes of HUL, Britannia. ये सारे counters में heavy selling देखने को मिला है in the last 15-20 trading sessions. Nifty oil and gas also has come under severe pressure. See, the oil and gas index, इसमें major weightage Reliance का ही है. So this index moves how the price action of Reliance moves. So Reliance has come under a bit of pressure in the last few trading sessions. So this particular index also has underperformed. Reliance का weightage भी is among the highest within Nifty. So that also due to the underperformance of Reliance Industries in the last 15-20 trading sessions, that has resulted in selling pressure in our markets as well. The only one sector जो relatively outperform कर रहा है, that is Nifty IT index. So IT index is only the one of the very rare sectors it is relatively outperforming. See, even if the pressure is the rest of the sectors are down on anywhere between 10 to 15% on the downside, but Nifty IT is just about 1,300 points away from its lifetime highs. So it is just within touching distance of its lifetime highs. And sectors which tend to outperform during a correction are the sectors which means whenever there is a rebound, जब भी market में rebound आएगा, this is one sector which we believe will start doing good from the start. And we should always identify which sector can lead the market going ahead. This is one sector which we believe that can do good in the next few sessions. Pharma also has recently come under a bit of pressure. So Pharma index also is down from its lifetime highs. About 2,000 points correction that we have seen in the Pharma index in the last few trading sessions. The only other index which is still relatively range bound, but last few sessions because of the rally which we have seen in the dollar index, तो metal stocks में भी थोड़ा pressure आया in the last few sessions. The positive thing for our markets from a fundamental perspective, it is the crude oil prices. So crude oil prices लगातार, if you see, it has been range bound from a very long period of time. This is one thing which is positive for us in the macro scenario. So stocks which are related to crude oil consumption stocks can do good in the next few quarters. So hopefully we could see a good, better set of results coming in from some of the tire companies and the paint companies. But paint is a very competitive sector now. We had seen with the results of Asian Paint that the sector is facing a stiff competition from a lot of players. But hopefully going ahead, the results could improve for the stocks which are heavily dependent on the crude sector. If we compare to the global markets, see, if you see, it is our markets which have come under extensive pressure and some of the rest of the emerging markets. But the US markets per se, they are trading at lifetime highs. If you see, the US markets are within touching distance and post the US elections, the S&P 500 has been able to hit the psychological level of 6,000 as well. So the selling pressure which has come has mainly to do with our domestic markets. There is nothing major which has deteriorated in the last 1 month or so. It is just that our markets had got overheated to a certain extent. 26,000, when our markets were trading at 26,000 levels, it was the upper band of the PE ratio. Nifty ka jo PE ratio hai, it was at the upper limit of it. It was from a very long time, it was closer towards the upper limit. It's not that we just recently hit the upper limit, but it was one of the reasons which the FIs got to sell in the market. They got a better opportunity. If you see the markets fund flow direction, maybe back towards the US markets itself, where they are feeling that the Trump administration can come out with the various policies which could result in the US markets doing better. So that's why we have seen a lot of FI fund flow as well. I'll just share the data regarding that as well. So today, in today's, if you take specifically for today's expiry, the markets are still holding okay because the financial services sector is relatively doing well. तो अगर फाइनेंशियल सेक्टर्स या बैंकिंग स्टॉक्स में आज भी प्रेशर रहता कल की ट्रेडिंग सेशन की तरह, तो निफ्टी आज काफी और नीचे जाने का there was a good chance that the index would have been 150 200 points as well. But today the likes of HDFC, Kotak, these are the banks which are still doing relatively okay, which has resulted in the index that is trading in a relatively sideways manner. The rest of the sectors, there is no major traction which is being seen. तो FMCG counters में अभी भी selling pressure देखने को मिल रहा है. See, whenever you're doing expiry based trading, you have to see on that particular day which sector is relatively outperforming and what is the weightage of that particular sector and which stocks can push the market actually. So yesterday you clearly saw that in the second half of the session, banking, which has a very high weightage within Nifty and Bank Nifty, they witnessed extremely heavy selling pressure in the market. So most of the calls which we gave yesterday were all on the sell side. Put option ही दिए थे. But the thing is the volatility is also quite high. So it's a challenge maintaining the stop loss as well. We have to maintain a 25-30 point stop loss when you're trading in Nifty, and generally a 50-60 point premium stop loss when you're trading in Bank Nifty as well. But more or less you come to know the direction of the market based on the sectors which are relatively outperforming for the day. So आज के ट्रेडिंग सेशन में if you see this is the Nifty index and all the stocks from the Nifty index, there are very few stocks which are actually holding the market. It's a relatively sideways day for the market, wherein the pressure is definitely on this downside because post the initial level of 23,650 जो इंट्राडे में हाई मारा था इंडेक्स ने, उसके बाद वापस सेलिंग प्रेशर ही आया है and the markets are about 120 points away from the intraday high levels. So like I mentioned, finance में there is HDFC Bank and the likes of Kotak which are relatively doing good, which are holding the market at the current juncture. And other than that, there is no major sector which is pushing the markets on the upside. One of the major reasons for the correction in the current scenario is the extensive selling by FIs. तो FI का जो अगर आप सेल फिगर देखोगे, इट वाज द हाईएस्ट एवर इन द मंथ ऑफ अक्टूबर. तो अक्टूबर में उन्होंने पूरा महीना अगर आप देखोगे, देयर वाज नॉट अ सिंगल ट्रेडिंग सेशन वेयर इन द FIs परचेज्ड इन द कैश मार्केट. तो सारे के सारे ट्रेडिंग सेशंस में सेल का ही फिगर था FIs का. Every trading day we saw nearly 4,000-5,000 crores of selling by the FIs. अगर आप देखोगे in the last few years, this particular month of October was the highest sell figure, and historically as well it has been the highest ever sell figure. So 1,14,000 crores was sold in the cash market, and to a large extent it was absorbed. See, if even by selling 1,14,000 crores due to the regular buying by the DIs and the retail segment, our markets was just about down 6%. See, number terms may it may look like a big figure, 26,000 to about 24,700 is what we had come down in about October, and from there we are still further down. See, but you have to understand that the markets had rallied significantly as well. Right from the time of COVID till 26,000, it was almost a one directional rally that we saw in the market, and the 6% correction that we saw in October was the single largest correction for the market since March 2020. तो लास्ट 4 साल में ये अक्टूबर का जो करेक्शन आया था, इट वाज द लार्जेस्ट करेक्शन. एंड नाउ बिकॉज ऑफ द फर्दर सेलिंग प्रेशर दैट वी सॉ इन नवंबर, द टोटल करेक्शन फ्रॉम द ऑल टाइम हाई is about 10-11%. Still this figure is not a significant figure, and please do note कि कभी भी एक बुल रन जब भी 2002 में भी देखा गया, there were many times in between wherein the markets witnessed a 10-15% type of correction. So these are good levels to gradually start buying few of the quality stocks wherein the results are coming good, because there is nothing major deterioration fundamentally that we have seen. It is just extensive selling which has from the FIIs, and a bit of margin pressure which has come in the market in the last 15-20 trading sessions. So just coming to a quick glance regarding the derivative indicators in today's trading session itself. So these are the live figures that I just calculated before taking the session. तो अभी अगर आप ऑप्शन चेन खोल के अगर कैलकुलेट करोगे, the PCR figure, निफ्टी का PCR figure currently stands at 0.63. That means that it is the total outstanding of put options divided by the call option. So you calculate PCR as an contra indicator. मतलब कितने put options right हुए divided by कितने call options right हुए. So clearly at current juncture this figure is at 0.63. So there is more call writing in the system compared to put writing. That means the view of majority of the traders at the current juncture is that the markets will remain slightly on the negative side, and that is why there is very heavy call writing which is being seen in 23,600 strike and above strike prices. So that is what the PCR data is basically telling. See how you can make use of this PCR data. आप 9:30 को एक बार PCR figure calculate कर सकते हो. Then again at 10:30 you can check it once, just to gauge the trend of the market. Whether even sometimes what happens when the markets go into a sideways consolidation, when charts पे कुछ बता नहीं रहा है, people be building positions in the derivative segment. So you can actually check out and see what the data is telling to us. Sometimes the trend may not be clear, but there are many occasions where the derivative data gives you a good indication of how the markets may participate for a particular day. अगर आप ऑप्शन चेन में अभी करंट जंक्चर पे देखोगे 23,600 और 23,500 के स्ट्राइक्स में हैवी कॉल राइटिंग देखा जा रहा है, और पुट साइड पे मेनली 23,500 और 23,400 के स्ट्राइक में ऑप्शन राइटिंग देखा जा रहा है. सो अभी अगर आप मैक्स पेन करके अगर आप बोलोगे, जो स्ट्राइक पे अगर मार्केट ने बंद दिया तो जो मैक्सिमम लॉस जो होगा कॉल ऑप्शन बायर को और पुट ऑप्शन के बायर को, that would be 23,550 के strike price में. So if the markets close approximately close to this particular level itself, that is where the max pain is currently placed. So like I mentioned, आज के trading day के लिए at the current juncture, downside the support zone for Nifty spot level that is 23,460-470 levels. Below that it is 23,350. On the upside, today's day high itself is the main resistance mark, because if the short covering has to come and 23,600 call option writers have to face pressure, then the Nifty will have to make an attempt and sustain even for 5-10 minutes above the levels of 23,640 levels. That is the time when actual panic may come about for the option writers on the upside. So this is the option chain, current option chain. ये same है. It is just that I wanted to highlight that since morning, because of the correction which has come, जो blue color का बार है वो call option writers है, and जो purple के बार है वो put option writers है. So you can clearly see that 23,600 जो सबसे बड़ा बार है उसमें continuous addition ही हुआ है. सुबह कितना option built up हुआ था उससे भी अभी लगातार option built up ही देखा जा रहा है. That means people are slightly confident even now that markets may not recover going into close, and we may not see a major closing above 23,600 levels. That is what the current data is indicating. We can get short covering at any point of time. Abhi Nifty में 200 points is not a major any major move. It can come about any point of time, but traders at the current juncture are expecting that Nifty may not surpass this level. If there is, then we will definitely see short covering. And on the downside, the highest put option writing is being seen in 23,500 and 23,400 strikes. So that's it for today's session. I'll one by one I'll take on the questions which are there in the comment section, and if you have any questions regarding the session, please do ask. So there are few questions, stock specific questions as well, so I can just take that one by one. So what's the view regarding Bharti for the current expiry? So Bharti Airtel, if you see, has witnessed a bit of sell-off in the last few trading sessions. The previous swing high for the stock was 1,742. From there, we have closed almost 200 points lower is where we have come. So current levels पे अगर देखा जाए, if there has to be a pullback, at least once the stock moves about 1,610 levels, that would be the main resistance mark for the particular counter at the current juncture. और नीचे के लेवल्स पे द मेन सपोर्ट जोन is seen closer towards 1,520 levels. So we are close to the support zone, and if the index, that is Nifty itself, witnesses a rebound within the next 200-300 points, then Bharti Airtel also we could witness a pullback in the particular counter, and we could see a pullback towards the levels of 1,600 on the upside. And if we are able to surpass 1,610, then we could see a further pullback on the upside. So there is a question regarding SBI. So I will not be able to take this particular question because it's our parent company itself. So due to compliance, I'll not be able to give an answer regarding this. So the next question is regarding Hero MotoCorp. So I'll just look at the charts of Hero MotoCorp. So like I mentioned, Nifty Auto has been one of the most impacted sectors in the last few weeks. But if you see Hero MotoCorp, the stock has corrected significantly, and now it is close to its support zone. So today we have witnessed a rebound in the particular counter. We'll have to wait and see whether this rebound is able to sustain. But we expect that within the next 200 points, that is, see, today the low for the stock was 4,467, and currently it is trading at 4,602. So even though may not be in terms of, there may not be a major pullback immediately in the stock, but gradually we could see a recovery in the counter. So at the immediate juncture, if you see, the major support zone is seen closer towards today's low itself, that is closer towards 4,400, 4,350 levels on the downside. And on the upside, if any time the stock is able to take out this major red candle, that is the levels of 5,130 levels, then we will see a trend shift in the particular stock. Till the time, we could see a range bound consolidation in Hero MotoCorp with the 4,400 and 4,400 levels on the downside acting as the support, and 5,130 on the upside acting as the immediate resistance zone. What about IOC? So IOC, if you see per se, the stock witnessed a breakdown on the charts of 155 odd levels was the main support zone, 160, 155. And post that, we have witnessed a slight correction in the counter, and even the results were not able to hold good for the stock. But we believe that from these levels, that is closer towards 130, is a good zone for the stock to rebound. And today has been a day, and even if the oil prices sustain at the lower levels going ahead, we could see better margins for these oil marketing companies, oil refining companies. Low crude prices are extremely negative for a stock like ONGC, but the price fluctuations, or if there is stable crude oil prices at lower levels, are slightly positive for the oil marketing companies. So closer towards 125, 130 is a very strong support zone for IOC, and we believe that there could be a rebound in the counter in the next few trading sessions. On the upside, if you see clearly, you can see the levels of 155, 160 will act as the immediate resistance zone, and only once a major shift in trend will be seen once the stock is able to close above the levels of 160 on the upside. Yeah, so the view on trend for today. So Trent, if you see, the stock has witnessed a gradual pullback on the upside. From the last 3, 4 trading sessions, the stock is trying to make a pullback. We believe that anytime if the stock manages to take out the levels of 6,620, we could see a further pullback towards 6,700, 750 levels on the upside. So from an intraday perspective, today's low would be the stop loss, and you can consider trading it on the long side. And any breakout above 6,630, we could see a pullback of around 1% on the upside. So if you see, the average volatility of the stock has come down in the last few trading sessions. Prior to that, the stock was much more significantly volatile. In the last 3, 4 trading sessions, the range of the stock has come down. But we believe from an intraday perspective, we could witness a slight pullback in the counter today. So sale, if you see, you can clearly see the chart structure is lower top, lower bottom chart structure. Metal stocks have come under a bit of pressure, and sale also is one counter, which you can clearly see there. From the last 5 highs, you can see this particular high, one next high, next high. The stock has been under a bit of pressure from the last few trading sessions. So if it's from a longer term perspective, it's okay. But if it's from a shorter term perspective, trading perspective, then it is better to trade the counter with a stop loss. The recent swing high itself, which came during the earnings day, so that was on 8th of November, will act as the immediate resistance zone for the stock. And anytime we are able to see a pullback above 126, it will form a double bottom pattern as well for the stock. So to predict when the reversal will come is slightly tough in the metal counter, but anytime the stock moves above 124, 126, will result in a double bottom formation for the stock, and we could witness a pullback towards 140, 144 levels on the upside. The other stock was DCAL. So DCAL, if you see, the stock has witnessed a breakout today. It's mainly to do with the earnings. I have not seen the earnings of the company, but it looks like the numbers have come good for the counter. The stock is up 16% odd percent in trade today. And looking at the chart structure, the stock has given a consolidation breakout on the daily chart. And we believe that the stock, which is currently trading closer towards 207 days low itself in terms of price action, would be the immediate stop loss from a short term perspective, that is 197 196 levels. And on the upside, if the stock anytime manages to take out today's high, that is 211, then we believe that gradually it can move towards 222 levels on the upside. This I will have to check, sir. Consumption bees, I don't have the chart per se for this particular counter, but I will definitely get back to you regarding the same. Consumption bees. So there is a question regarding Swiggy IPO. The stock has done good post its listing. The stock was yesterday up about 13 odd percent. From a longer term perspective, we could see the stock doing good. It would be better to once connect with the fundamental team as well. What is their view and what is the price target they have from a longer time perspective. But the stock of Zomato, if is a very good comparison, and how the stock has done in the last few months. It's all about a game about how they are able to scale up their volumes and what are the new tactics that both these companies employ. So from it's a new age company. It's these are the two monopoly companies which are there in the market. So from a slightly longer term perspective, you can continue to hold the counter, and for a specific target per se from a 12-month perspective, you can just once get in touch with the fundamental team. The reason being, it since it's recently listed, there's no chart structure to give an idea from the technical side. So there is a strategy. Bear put spread strategy works well at 23,000 foot buy and 23 put sell. Today's expiry. What is the best strategy for November 21 expiry, as there are three trading sessions? As there are three tradings. See, it is tough at the current juncture to the view or the trend clearly is on the bearish side. There is no doubt about it. Even once the breakdown came 2 days back, we believe that once if you look at the chart structure for Nifty, we are currently at 23,550 levels. From a slightly shorter term perspective, we could see a slight pullback, but the overall we believe that once the index can move closer towards 23,400, 23,300 levels on the downside. Predicting for 21st is slightly challenging, but more or less we have a view that the index can witness a further 200 300 points correction on the downside. These are strategies which wherein there is sharp selling which comes on any particular days. Those are the days which are good to do. Go ahead with a spread strategy, wherein there is extensive selling and a breakdown, clear breakdown happens on the chart. When the days are slightly sideways or a consolidation day like today, wherein it's tough to predict whether 23,500 will break on the downside, because there is very heavy put writing which is being seen in that particular counter as well. So a better picture will emerge closer towards 1:45 2 p.m. Or 2:15, wherein if there is once again a selling pressure which comes about like yesterday's trading day. But today I expect that not such a intensive selling pressure to come, and the markets could be relatively range bound per se. What is the major support zone for CONCOR? I'll just be able to take a few questions because we'll have to wind up the session by 1:30. So I'll try to quickly take the questions till 1:30. So what is the major support zone for CONCOR? So if you see currently the stock is trading close to 790 levels, and today it has shown signs of a reversal as well. But if you see on the charts, the support zone comes closer towards 760, 770 on the downside. So if today's low is broken down in the next few trading sessions, we could see the stock move close towards 760 levels on the downside. While on the upside, the recent swing high itself will act as a resistance. But prior to that as well, the large major candle which came about closer towards 830, 840 levels, that would be the immediate resistance zone. So from a reversal perspective, 840 on the upside, and on the downside, the support zone is seen closer towards 760 levels. See, sir, whenever you're trading options, I always strictly believe that it is instead of trading it from a hero zero perspective, trade it with the strict stop loss. It's tough to predict the whenever even if see like yesterday the view was the on the bearish side, but there are multiple occasions during the correction on the downside as well, wherein pullbacks come into picture. So every trade that you take, so this particular option, it is better to maintain for Fin Nifty a stop loss of 30 40 points on the premium side. So if you have purchased something closer towards 140, somewhere around 110 105 also can be means should have been used as a stop loss. Currently it is at 60. To predict a complete reversal of almost double the point range is slightly difficult, but today we are witnessing a bit of a rebound in the market. If you see for Bank Nifty as well. The index post testing the levels yesterday's low levels. So what I would recommend is from Fin Nifty, if you are holding the position, today's low itself will act as the major stop loss level, and you can consider to hold. But do consider going ahead to trade the if it's from an intraday perspective, do trade it with the particular stop loss in mind. And if it's a positional trade, always do it in the terms of a bull spread on the upside. So I'll just take the last question regarding consumption bees. I'll just look at the chart of it as well. So if you see the price chart of consumption bees, it's currently trading closer towards 122 levels. At the current juncture, it is not showing any major signs of reversal per se on the chart. And the previous swing also, it is closer towards levels of that. So around 120 is where it has a decent amount of support zone. So 115, if you see clearly on the chart, 115 to 120 should act as a decent support zone for the stock. And we could see a bit of a pullback from these levels. So if you want to consider this particular bees, then you can consider it in a slightly staggered manner in the range between 110 to 120 levels. But I still do not know the actual underlying or the type of stocks which are there in this particular basket. So it is just my clear view based on the charts. I'll just have to look at once. It's better to look at which stocks are actually there within this space and what is the chart structure of those also. So if you want, you could get a better understanding of what are the stocks which are there in this particular exchange ETF, consumption ETF. Thank you to all the friends who have joined today's session. Due to slight time constraints, I'll not be able to take any further questions. But thank you so much for having taken the time out and having attended our session today. We'll be having many more sessions on technical and derivatives within this month as well. In the course of the next 5-10 trading sessions, we have almost 3 to 4 webinars which are scheduled. So please do take your time and attend those sessions as well. Thank you, and have a happy trading session, everyone.